I got a bank notification asking me to pay monthly installments on an $800K loan. Shocked, I told them I never applied for one. After investigating, I found out my sister had used my details to buy a house. On her grand housewarming day she saw me already inside. When she asked how I got in, I laughed and pointed to the bank officer. Her face instantly turned pale. Pratt 3. Your social security number, employment history, tax returns, bank statements. My sister would have access to most of that, I said quietly. We grew up in the same house. She knows my birthday, my mother's maiden name, probably even my first pet's name for security questions. And she's been to my apartment countless times. Martha nodded sympathetically. Family fraud is unfortunately common, though usually not at this scale. Do you have any proof your sister is behind this specifically? Not yet, but I'm working on it. After leaving the bank, I called the private investigator Daniel had recommended. Former client of his who owed him a favor. Maxwell Jenkins agreed to look into Rachel and Brandon's finances, and gather whatever evidence he could find connecting them to the fraudulent loan. While waiting for Maxwell's report, I searched Rachel's social media accounts. There it was, posted just a week ago, a photo of Rachel standing proudly in front of 1542 Lakeview Terrace. Captioned, "Dreams do come true. Far new home fi blessed." The comments section overflowed with congratulations and questions about how they could afford such a magnificent house. Rachel's reply to one comment made my blood boil. Hard work and smart financial planning pay off. Fit deserved. I scrolled through more photos. Rachel showing off the gourmet kitchen, Brandon grilling on the expansive deck. Selfies in front of the marble fireplace. They were living in a house purchased with my stolen identity, flaunting it publicly while I faced financial ruin. The formal housewarming invitation arrived in my mailbox that afternoon's an elegant card with gold embossing. Inside Rachel had written, "Can't wait to show you our new place. You're gonna be so jealous. Love you, sis." That evening, my parents came over after I insisted we needed to talk in person. They sat uncomfortably on my couch as I paced the small living room. "Did you help Rachel and Brandon buy their new house?" I asked directly. They exchanged glances. "No honey," my father answered. "We couldn't afford to. You know our retirement isn't that substantial." "Ew. Then how do you think they afforded an $800,000 house in Lakeside Heights?" Brandon's company has been struggling since the pandemic, and Rachel hasn't held a steady job in years. My mother fidgeted with her wedding ring. Rachel said Brandon made some smart investments that paid off. We didn't ask for details. And you didn't find that suspicious? That suddenly they could afford a mansion. Amanda, my father said sternly, what are you implying? I took a deep breath and laid out everything: the fraudulent loan, the stolen identity, the credit cards, the investigation. As I spoke, my mother's face crumpled while my father's reddened with anger. There must be some mistake. My mother insisted. Rachel wouldn't do something like this. Like what, Mom? Like stealing my Barbie when I was 6. Like borrowing my clothes in high school. Like using my student ID in college. Like accidentally using my credit card. This is just Rachel doing what Rachel has always done. Taking what's mine, but on a much larger scale. My father stood up, his banker's mind processing the implications. If what you're saying is true, this is a federal crime. Rachel could go to prison. I know, Dad. My voice cracked. Do you think I want that? But what about me? My credit is ruined. I'm on the hook for nearly $1 million of debt. My entire future is destroyed because Rachel wanted a fancy house she couldn't afford. My mother began to cry. There has to be another explanation. Maybe Brandon did this without telling her. I laughed bitterly. Mom, you've been making excuses for Rachel our entire lives. When does it stop? They left, promising to talk to Rachel to get her side of the story. I knew it wouldn't help. Rachel would deny everything, cry, make them feel guilty for doubting her. The pattern was too ingrained to break. After they left, I collapsed on my bed, the weight of betrayal crushing my chest. Daniel came over, holding me as I alternated between tears and rage. I can't believe she would do this to me. I sobbed into his shoulder. My own sister. Does she hate me that much? Daniel stroked my hair gently. I don't think it's about hate, Amanda. Some people just feel entitled to things they haven't earned. They don't think about consequences because they've never really faced any. His words triggered a memory from when I was 12 and Rachel 15. She had taken my journal, reading my private thoughts aloud to her friends at a sleepover. When I confronted her, devastated by the invasion of privacy, she'd shrugged and said, "If you didn't want people to know, you shouldn't have written it down." No apology, no recognition of the pain she'd caused. Just a casual dismissal of my feelings. That night, as Daniel slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling wondering what my future held. My carefully constructed plans were in shambles. The down payment I'd saved might now go to legal fees. My perfect credit score, which I'd protected so diligently, was in ruins. The promotion I'd worked so hard for could be jeopardized if this affected my professional reputation. All because Rachel wanted a house she couldn't afford and decided mine was the financial identity she'd steal to get it. The next morning, Maxwell called with his preliminary findings. Brandon Phillips Development Company is on the verge of bankruptcy, he reported. They've been living on credit cards for months. There's no way they qualified for that mortgage legitimately. What about the loan application? I asked. I'm still working on that, but I did find something interesting. Your sister's laptop was serviced at a repair shop last month. The technician remembers her asking how to use Photoshop to edit PDF documents. Another piece of the puzzle fell into place. Rachel had digitally altered my documents to create the fraudulent loan application. By Friday, 3 days after discovering the fraud, my emotions had crystallized from hurt to determination.